Welcome to Discover Daily by Perplexity, an AI-generated show on tech, science, and culture. I'm Isaac.
And I'm Sienna. Today we're exploring the surprising slowness of human thought, with new research revealing our brains process information at just 10 bits per second. But first, let's look at what else is happening across the tech and geopolitical landscape.
Our first story takes us to the Baltic Sea, where undersea cables have once again been targeted. On December 25, 2024, the Estlink 2 power cable connecting Finland and Estonia suffered significant damage, reducing its transmission capacity by nearly two-thirds. Finnish authorities have launched an investigation into what they're calling grave sabotage.
That's concerning, Isaac. Do we know who might be behind this?
The investigation is focusing on a tanker called the Eagle S, which is suspected to be part of Russia's Shadow Fleet, used to evade Western sanctions. The vessel exhibited suspicious behavior, slowing down 25% just before crossing the Estlink 2 cable at the exact time the fault occurred. Finnish police have since seized the tanker for further investigation.
This isn't the first time we've seen incidents like this in the Baltic Sea, is it?
No, it's not. The Baltic Sea has seen a troubling pattern of infrastructure attacks. In September 2022, the Nord Stream pipelines were severely damaged by underwater explosions, with traces of explosives found at multiple sites. In October 2023, the Chinese vessel Nu Polar Bear dragged its anchor for over 100 nautical miles, damaging both telecommunications cables and a gas pipeline. Then in November 2024, two fiber optic cables, the BCS East-West and Sea Lion 1, were simultaneously cut in what officials called an act of sabotage. These recurring incidents have prompted a robust response from NATO and regional countries. NATO has announced plans to step up patrols in the Baltic Sea area, while Estonia has launched a naval operation to safeguard the Estlink 1 undersea power cable. European nations are now deploying advanced sensor networks, autonomous underwater vehicles, and cutting-edge sonar technology to protect critical infrastructure.
Can you explain more about the suspected Russian Shadow Fleet and its implications for maritime security?
Absolutely. The Shadow Fleet, comprising aging vessels with opaque ownership structures, poses a dual threat to the region's energy infrastructure and maritime safety. In response, Baltic and Nordic nations have intensified their efforts to counter these operations, including regular inspections of suspected shadow vessels and increased information sharing among partner states.
It's clear this is a complex and evolving situation. Now let's move on to our second story, which takes us to the icy waters of Antarctica.
The world's largest iceberg, known as A23A, has begun a remarkable journey after being grounded in the Weddell Sea for over 30 years. This massive ice formation calved from the Filchner-Ronne ice shelf back in 1986 and has remained stationary until recently.
Wow, that's a long time to be stuck in one place. What prompted it to start moving now?
Scientists aren't entirely sure what triggered the movement, but in 2020, A23A began showing signs of mobility. Now it's drifting northward through the Southern Ocean, following the Antarctic circumpolar current. This journey is significant because A23A is truly massive, spanning over 1,400 square miles, which is comparable to the state of Rhode Island.
That's an enormous piece of ice on the move. What are researchers hoping to learn from its journey?
Scientists are particularly interested in examining A23A's impact on local marine environments and global carbon dynamics as it enters warmer waters. Dr. Andrew Myers, an oceanographer with the British Antarctic Survey, and his team are closely monitoring the iceberg's trajectory to understand its effects on surrounding ecosystems.
I understand A23A encountered an interesting phenomenon during its journey. Can you tell us more about that?
Indeed, A23A's journey was dramatically interrupted when it became trapped in what's known as a Taylor column. This is a unique oceanographic phenomenon. A rotating water vortex formed when ocean currents interact with underwater seamounts. The Taylor column effectively held the massive iceberg in place for months, causing it to spin counterclockwise at a rate of about 15 degrees per day.
That's fascinating. What implications did this unexpected pause have?
The entrapment in the Taylor column had several significant implications. It delayed the iceberg's drift towards warmer waters, potentially extending its lifespan. The spinning motion also provided scientists with a rare opportunity to study the dynamics of Taylor columns and their effects on large ice masses. Interestingly, a scientific buoy trapped in a nearby Taylor column had remained in place for over 4 years, suggesting A23A could have been held captive for an extended period.
It's amazing how much we can learn from observing these natural phenomena. Now let's dive into our main story of the day, which challenges our understanding of human cognition.
Recent research has revealed that the human brain processes information at a surprisingly slow rate of just 10 bits per second. This finding, published in the journal Neuron by researchers from the California Institute of Technology, challenges our previous assumptions about cognitive speed.
That does sound slow, Isaac. Can you put that into context for us? How does this compare to the amount of sensory information our brain receives?
The contrast is quite stark, Sienna. While our sensory organs collectively gather billions of bits of information per second, our cognitive processing is limited to a mere 10 bits per second. To give you a specific example, the human eye alone can transmit information at a rate of about 10 million bits per second. This reveals a significant bottleneck between sensory input and conscious thought.
That's a huge discrepancy. How does our brain manage to function effectively with such a limited processing speed?
The brain's ability to distill this overwhelming influx of data into a manageable stream of conscious thought represents a feat of neural efficiency. This process of information reduction and prioritization allows us to focus on the most relevant aspects of our environment, enabling quick decision-making, despite the limitations of our cognitive processing speed.
Interesting. So, what are some of the implications?
This finding has significant implications for our understanding of neural bottlenecks and cognitive limitations. It explains why we experience cognitive overload in complex situations and struggle with multitasking. It also sheds light on phenomena like decision fatigue, our perception of time, and even how we learn and acquire new skills.
How might this research impact fields beyond neuroscience?
The implications extend to various fields, including artificial intelligence. While AI can process vast amounts of data rapidly, this research suggests that human-like intelligence may require incorporating similar bottlenecks to achieve more nuanced and contextual understanding. This insight could lead to new approaches in AI design, potentially creating systems that better mimic human cognitive processes and decision-making abilities.
It's fascinating how understanding our own limitations can inform the development of artificial intelligence. As we wrap up, what should our listeners be watching for as this research develops?
Moving forward, we can expect to see more research into optimizing human cognitive performance within our biological constraints. This could lead to new strategies for managing information overload in our daily lives. Additionally, we might see developments in AI that incorporate these human-like processing limitations to create more nuanced and contextually aware systems.
Thank you, Isaac, and thank you to our listeners for tuning in to today's episode of Discover Daily. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite platform. For more info on anything we covered today, check out the links in our episode description. And don't forget, you can now access Perplexity's AI-powered knowledge base on the go with the mobile app available for both Android and iOS. There's also the Perplexity desktop app for macOS. Perplexity now offers a comprehensive one-stop shopping solution where you can both research and purchase products. The platform now features Buy with Pro, a first-of-its-kind AI commerce experience offering one-click checkout and free shipping for Pro users in the US. There's also an innovative Snap-to-Shop feature that lets you find products by simply taking a photo, and an AI-powered discovery system that provides unbiased product recommendations with clear, visual product cards. The platform integrates with Shopify to access up-to-date product information from businesses across the US, making online shopping easier and more efficient than ever. We'll be back with more stories that matter. Until then, stay curious,